Arthur James Warren was born on November 12, 1891 in Ozark County, Missouri. He was the fourth of 7 children born to William and Rachel Burleson Warren. When Arthur was born, his father was 36 and his mother was 26. Arthur grew up with his siblings on his family's farm in Ozark County. On the 1910 census, Arthur was 18 years old and still living with his parents working on their farm. He hadn't attended school, but he knew how to read and write. I found one article from 1911 that stated, Arthur Warren is a sure shot at possums. He shins the tree and pieces the muzzle against the possum's head before pulling the trigger. Since making my videos, I am surprised at how many times the Ozark County newspaper wrote about possum hunting. On July 17, 1913, when Arthur was 21, he married 15-year-old Bertha Hancock. 1 month later, in August, Arthur was in the newspaper. This article stated, State versus Arthur Warren, intoxicated at public assemblage, plea of guilty, fined $5. That equals to around $160 in today's money. 2 years later, in April of 1915, Arthur lost his older brother. John Warren passed away at the age of only 33, leaving behind a wife and 2 daughters. I didn't have any luck finding his cause of death. John was buried in Martin Cemetery in Ozark County, Missouri. 4 months after his brother passed away, Arthur and Bertha welcomed their first daughter, Thelma Rosabelle. Arthur and Bertha's second daughter was born and passed away on February 23, 1917. My great-grandfather, Dr. Paul Patrick, was the attending physician and who filled out the death certificate. Just a warning, her death certificate is detailed, and my grandfather did refer to her as it. The cause of death stated, seemed completely lifeless when born, but by careful and diligent it seemed to rally but very weak. Under what contributed to her passing, Dr. Patrick wrote, the cord was wrapped twice around neck and strangled it. There is another sentence after this, but I didn't have any luck making out what it says. If you have any idea, let me know in the comments. The baby girl wasn't named, and she was buried in Martin Cemetery with Arthur's brother John. Her marker has been lost to time. 4 months later, the family suffered another loss. On June 27, 1917, Arthur was working his job as a mail carrier. He was delivering mail on his route with his buggy and his team of horses. He was on his route somewhere near the town of Dora when a severe storm hit. A bolt of lightning struck a telephone wire over Arthur's head, which brought the wire down on him, and it killed him and his horses instantly. An article stated someone passing on the road after the storm found Arthur dead in his buggy and the horses lifeless in the road. Arthur was only 25. Bertha had lost a child and her husband at the age of only 19. Arthur's family buried him in Martin Cemetery with his daughter and brother. 2 years after Arthur passed away, Bertha married George James. They would have 5 children together, including twin girls. 13 years after Arthur passed away in 1930, I found George and Bertha on the census. They had moved their family to Montgomery County, Iowa, and were farming. On the same census, Arthur and Bertha's daughter, Thelma, was 14 years old, and she was living in Baxter County, Arkansas, with her maternal grandparents, the Hancocks. Bertha passed away in 1970 at the age of 72. She is buried in Evergreen Cemetery in Montgomery County, Iowa. Thelma married Cleo Crawford, and they had at least 2 children. Thelma is buried in Sperry Rest Haven Cemetery in Osage County, Oklahoma. Arthur's stone has a carving of a bird flying through the gates of heaven. This represents Arthur's soul leaving his body, taking flight, and entering into heaven. Arthur's ominous epitaph says, Dear companion and child, as you pass by, as you are now, once was I. As I am now, you soon must be. Prepare for death to meet and follow me. Someone had entered the wrong death date on Arthur's Find a Grave page. I requested it to be changed to the correct date, added what his epitaph said, and uploaded his cleaned headstone photo. My family tree showed Arthur is my 8th cousin, twice removed. Thank you so much for watching. Rest in peace, Arthur.